89.7 PowerFM. I'm on the phone with Suzy Martinez. She is the lead vocalist of Ilia. They're going to be out at Lighthouse Coffee Bar in Midlothian tomorrow. You can get the details about that if you're curious on the bulletin board page at kvrk.com. How are you today, Suzy?
I'm doing wonderful, Taylor. Thank you.
It's so good to hear from you. We've been playing your song, My Allegiance, here on the station now, and we're all just huge fans of it, because I think partially it's not kind of your typical song you hear on the radio. Like, it takes forever until it really gets into the big part, but I think it makes that payoff so much bigger.
Yeah. You know, when we wrote that song, and you know, that's what I wanted. I wanted, you know, everything that we write to be kind of like a journey, you know, because it's all about the climax of the song, and it's all about taking you through this listening journey, and at the end making you feel something. So that's kind of what the goal was.
And we've got kind of your bio that you wrote up for it on our website, but I wonder if you'd kind of share for the interview, what was this song all about for you?
Well, okay, it's really weird because sometimes I don't even like to say I wrote this song.
Okay.
Because, well, I wrote it when I was 15, and
really?
What happened was I was at work, and I worked when I was 15. I worked at a diner, and when I would work, I would just kind of be on cruise control, and I would get these songs in my head. I would hear these melodies, and then I would kind of like mumble words to them, and I wouldn't even know what I'd be saying. And so while I was working, I hear this melody line, and it's the chorus of My Allegiance, what now is My Allegiance, and it's just in my head the entire night. So yeah, you know, I bring it to the table to Ilia, and there it is, you know, and I feel like God gave it to me, you know, and it's a very, very special song. And I had written out the lyrics for it when I was 15. I showed it to one of my friend's moms, and she was like, "This is so beautiful." And it wasn't until, like, you know, 4 or 5 years later, it's like on the radio, and I'm just like, what? You know, it's just funny how God works and how he does things, you know? So that's the story of it, actually.
That is so cool.
Yeah, but really the meaning, you know, I think, and when I was at that age, I was just growing in the Lord so much. And I was, you know, attending youth group, and I was just getting to know this magnificent God, and he was my creator. And this song was just words of tribute to him, and how my heart belonged to him forever as a young girl, as a young lady, and still to this day, that's true.
Because you were saying you had kind of had these lyrics for a while. You had this song for a while. Is that common for you to kind of have a song and you just kind of sit on it for a while until it's ready?
Oh, yeah. I mean, As Winter Stays, you guys have been spinning that song too. That one I wrote when I was 17, and it was on an acoustic guitar, and it was in a really, really bad time in my life, and I was just kind of this young teenager, didn't really know what was going on in life, and I wrote this song of desperation to God, and it didn't get recorded until like 3 or 4 years later. And some songs I have that I still have, I wrote when I was, like 15, 16, now I'm 22, and so some of them are still waiting to be recorded, and I'm still really passionate about them, and I'm just waiting for the right time to release them. Man,
I would not have the patience to do that. I'd be like, man, I wrote this song yesterday. We've got to get it on the record.
It's hard, but the thing is, there's just so many logistics to recording, and you want it to be perfect, you know, as a perfectionist. So I would rather wait for the opportune moment, the right fan base, go out and spread it everywhere. It's like, you know, kind of go big or go home kind of thing. Like, if it's going to be released, it's got to be huge, because this song is worth it. So yeah, I think the oldest song on our album right now is God Disguised, and that's the last song on the album, and it's I wrote that when I was sitting in science class in 8th grade.
That's awesome.
You can see where my head was at the time. My head wasn't in school. It was definitely in music at that point.
Yep. That is so cool. Well, once again, on the phone with Suzy from Ilia. They are going to be in town tomorrow, actually, out in Midlothian. You can get details about that on the bulletin board page over at kvrk.com. And I want to know, because I feel like you've got two different mindsets when you're in a band. You've got kind of the recording mindset and the live mindset. Which one do you kind of prefer? Which do you enjoy the most?
Wow, that is so hard, because, man, it just takes both. You need both so much, because it's like, for me, the reason I'm in music, the whole reason I'm in it, is to create songs. That is my heart, is to be a songwriter and create pieces that move people and that give them some kind of encounter, an intersection with Jesus. And so, you know, to me, it's like, if I'm not writing a good song, what's the point of showing it to people? But at the same time, it's like, after you do write that song, there's something about the stage that is just magical. And I remember being, I think I was 14 or 15 years old. Yeah, that was the first time I ever gone on stage. And just something came alive in me. And I start moving and I start, you know, performing the way you're supposed to. And I'm like, where did I get this from? What am I doing? And, you know, it's just something so amazing. But I'd have to say, I guess if you gave me the choice, I would pick recording because I want to make that product. But, you know, performing is just, it's so almost equal, you know, because it's the way you present things that make an impact to people as well. So, man, that's a tough one.
I'll be back with more from Suzy in just a few, but first, here's their new song. It's My Allegiance by Ilia, right here on Power FM. 88.9.7 Power FM, My Allegiance by Ilia. And I'm actually on the phone with their lead singer, Suzy Martinez, right now. They're going to be out at Lighthouse Coffee Bar in Midlothian tomorrow night. We've got the details on the bulletin board page at kvrk.com. And I'm kind of curious because you guys, over the last few years, have been over all kinds of, there's been member turnover, there's been, the sound change from, you know, the earlier really heavy stuff to kind of the I would almost describe it as like a sunny alt rock, and then to what you've got now that's a little bit more in between. What was that? How much of that were you involved in, and what was behind all of that?
Oh, man. Well, God has obviously taken this band and through quite the journey. And, you know, I think I can't speak for it completely because, you know, Jessica's the only one that is the original member, and right now she's working on drum tracks up at the practice shop, so she's not here. But from what I can attest to everything, it started out as a group of girls that, you know, were all best friends and that were discovered, and they were something different. And I believe that Ilia has always been different because, first of all, their hearts are just amazing. These people that I jam with, their hearts are just amazing, and the ministry is there. The goal of reaching people for God is there. So it started out with these girls, and they had this sound, and over the years, a lot of them got married, a lot of them left, and it went down to the three-piece of just Brittany, Melissa, and Jessica. And then Melissa gets married, and then Brittany ends up leaving, and it's just Jessica, and then she, you know, finally introduces guys in the band, and at that point, they were trying to be a little bit more radio rock, and when all that happened, we have a completely new band, and I'm actually the newest member, so all those songs that I brought to them, and I was like, listen, you know, if we can play these, that would be great. And they loved it. They loved all the music. So I was really, really blessed to be able to come into a band that loves that, and we're on the same page musically. So, I think the biggest change was, you know, because I came in and being a really big songwriter, that changed a lot for the sound. But I'm grateful because they accepted me, and, you know, I'm part of the family now. So I'm really, really grateful for that. So, yeah, that's the story, kind of.
That's awesome. So do you play the older catalog at your shows?
We actually do. We play from the first album, the very first album with that grungy rock feel. There's about 2 songs we play, so they can expect to hear that if they come see us. But most of it is from the new album, yeah.
So what's that like as a vocalist when you're coming up singing words that somebody else wrote?
That's interesting because I have a lot of respect for the old music, you know, because maybe it might be outdated or whatever, but I respect it because that was someone else's journey in Christ. And I can relate to that. I can relate, like, for example, a song like Last Night. It's about this dark night of your soul, and Jesus reaching down and changing that, and you're giving your life to Him. And, you know, I can relate to that because I've had those days before. I've had those nights before. And it's a fun song. They're all fun songs. And then we also play Portrait of a Lying Heart, and that one is just so much fun to play live, and I really do like the words of that one as well. So when I came in, they were like, do you mind playing these songs? I was like, dude, yeah, you guys are going to play my music, I'm going to play yours, absolutely. And it's fun, it's really fun, and it's cool that some of the fans know that, and they sing along. They know it better than our new album, so that makes me happy that they get to at least participate somehow.
On the phone with Suzy, the lead singer of Ilia. We've been playing their song, My Allegiance. They're going to be out at Lighthouse Coffee Bar in Midlothian tomorrow night. We've got the details on the bulletin board page at kvrk.com. So what is next for Ilia?
Well, we got a little surprises coming out your way. I'm not sure if I'm allowed to tell, but it's going to be good. It's going to be really good.
Awesome.
We are writing some new stuff. I'm not sure if we're going to be recording this year. We definitely have a plethora of songs that we're going to be choosing from for the next album. So that's about it. We'll definitely be releasing more singles from the album for radio play. And a little surprise there, but I don't know if I'm allowed to tell, so sorry.
You're killing me. And what's the best way for folks to get in touch with you guys if they want more info?
Absolutely Facebook. We're always posting on Facebook, and you can find us at www.facebook.com/Ilia Music. Or we're on Twitter, Instagram. Same username as Ilia Music. Everything's Ilia Music. Or IliaMusic.com. And we also have an email, which is band@IliaMusic.com. And we love to reply to every message we get, even if it's just a fan message saying, hey, what's up? We're totally cool. We love that. They can totally reach out to us.
Suzy, it has been so great catching up with you. Once again, if you're just tuning in, you can catch Ilia out at Lighthouse Coffee Bar in Midlothian tomorrow at 7 p.m. A bunch of bands going to be out there. You can get the details on the bulletin board page at kvrk.com. Suzy, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with us today.
Thank you, Taylor. Thank you guys for spinning our song. We love you so much.